When I planned on making a video like this, it was going to be a different kind of video entirely. About my journey from beginning to end, but now it completely changed. And I needed to get this off my chest. One software put me through a lot and doesn't exactly have a happy end. For me at least. As some of you may know, I was absent from YouTube due to putting all my time and energy into a 3D model in Blender. For the longest time, I struggled on it, hoping I would finally finish it and be able to come back to YouTube and enjoy myself. I pictured myself more happy, satisfied with myself for finally getting what took me nearly a decade to finish. Blender has been by far the most difficult thing I have ever attempted. I knew that when I went in for the first time. I figured I would struggle, but would eventually come out of it. But I had no idea what I was in for. I can't just brute force my way through it like I thought I would. If only it were that simple. First part was the difficulty of learning. Blender is not a simple thing you just pick up and learn right away. It requires dedication and a lot of studying, with a side dish of trial and error. But me, I don't do well when it comes to that kind of thing. Poor attention span, trouble understanding, and some things don't make sense to me. I have ADHD, so imagine how much I struggled with school growing up. I started off in Discord, and some of you know bits and pieces of this story. Discord is where I got a mere taste of how the Blender community is. Especially with newcomers. They don't seem to understand that when people are new to something, they struggle to understand. Sometimes they'll catch on, but most of the time they'll have a very hard time understanding things. But these people expect you to already know. Like they expect you to read their minds. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I got insulted and harassed due to having a hard time understanding the simplest of things. At least they think it's simple. For me, it's a freaking rocket science project. They would give me a solution, but when I attempt it, it wouldn't work. To me, it just wasn't the right solution and needed something else. But to them, it was me being incompetent. They blamed me instead, telling me that it was the right way and I must have been doing something wrong. Over and over, I told them I followed their instructions, even showed screenshots, but they insisted I was just being retarded. One server I've been to was the absolute worst. I'm not going to say which server it was. I don't want to give them any publicity. Why can I say publicity? Like, publicity. Okay, there we go. Publicity. Thank you, Google. Publicity. Anyway, I don't want to give them free publicity. Publicity. Damn it! I don't want to give them any publicity. Publicity. Fuck! I don't want to give them any I keep saying publicity. There. I don't want to give them any why can I say it? I don't want to give them any publicity. There. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve any publicity. Not how they handle this situation. They just don't deserve any publicity. I don't want to give them any attention. They don't deserve it. I can't even speak. I can't even. Wow. Okay. Anyway, moving on before I continue to embarrass myself further. I went to their server thinking there were a lot of experienced people there who might have dealt with issues like this before. At first, things were off to a decent start. I had a thing or two worked out, but then I got into the deeper stuff, the more complicated thing I had. They helped, or at least tried. They gave me what they deemed was the solution, but it didn't work out. Like I explained earlier, we went back and forth. I was apparently just an idiot who messed up, and I tried to explain it wasn't the solution and show them time and time again it wasn't what I was trying to do, or it didn't fix the problem. I showed them screenshots and they just ignored it. They just kept ignoring everything I said. It's like they weren't even listening. The frustration constantly grew and grew and grew. And they were really pissing me off, and I was trying my damnedest to be patient. So their solution? To constantly insult me and my intelligence. I was just incapable of doing it. They then brought up the donut tutorial. I'm sure anyone who's ever worked on this thing knows about that. It's infamous in this community. apparently didn't like it, but that's not what we're here for. Claiming it would help me understand things and to just do it. They didn't give me much of a choice, so I obliged. I watched the video, did everything step by step, and occasionally asked a question because either I couldn't find what I was looking for or I messed up. But it was like 1 or 2 questions at least. And when all was said and done, I was finished. I got decent compliments for the donut I did. I asked one of them how was this going to benefit me and help me with my problems. He told me it wasn't meant to help me. They just wanted to see if I was capable of following the simplest instructions. Just another insult towards me. I wasted my time for nothing. Thrown into the pit to see if I'll survive. So even after that, it didn't solve anything. The bullying continued. One guy even sent me a blend file saying he made it, I'm going to do air quotes, you can't see me, special for me. I made the mistake of opening it. All it was just a head with a weird dude's face on it. Like he just photoshopped on there, used whatever Blender thing to put a photo onto the model and just sent me a head of this dude making a weird face. That was it, nothing more. I thought maybe it was something helpful. I wasn't sure and was too gullible at the time. I should have known better and should never have touched it. I deleted it immediately after I saw it. I just shook my head like, are you fucking kidding me? This is what he sends me, is this weird ass face of a guy who I can barely recall the details. As time went on, they continued to belittle me. It was their new favorite hobby. I wasn't capable of reading their minds, so I became a dunce, the clown, the one to point fingers at. I had about enough and just said I wasn't going to acknowledge this one guy. I just wasn't going to talk to him anymore, and I was going to block him. I just said, I'm done talking to you. This is how you're going to treat me. Blocked. So he just said, okay, and immediately banned me moments later, just because I refused to talk to him. Because all he did was act like a dick and constantly insulted me every time I say something instead of helping me. I managed to find another server shortly after, only to find it was owned by one of the guys that was from the last server. Once he realized it was me, he showed a link to a music video, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye or something, before banning me from there too. There was only one Discord server that actually helped me. However, this is when my hacker crisis happened and the bastard got on my Discord account, spamming those scam links saying if you click this you get bonuses or whatever the hell they are. Got me booted from several servers, and that Blender server was unfortunately one of them. The Blender server was my best chance of getting through this and getting things fixed. I was lost without it. I was just like, shit, what am I going to do if I have another problem? I just felt completely hopeless, like I would never find someone to help me again. Like, how am I going to get back to that server? I couldn't even find it. For all I know, I did find it, and I was just banned, and I couldn't open it. I don't know. And no matter where I looked, I just couldn't find a damn thing. But one day, I met someone on Reddit who saw what I said about the last server. He had his own Discord, and a manner of speaking, a refuge for people like me who got banned from that server. And it turns out, it was well known for having Blender users who thought so highly of themselves and never thought they were wrong and banned anyone who disagreed or was clueless. So it turns out I wasn't the only one. So he offered me to go to his server. And with this one, things didn't last. I had some assistance, it was working to a degree, but I was going in a downward spiral. Feeling like it was hopeless, it would never get fixed after so many failures, and I was expressing that a bit too much because my frustration, just sadness, just got the better of me, which didn't help what happened next. The guy I met, his personality took a huge U-turn. I couldn't blame him. He got rejected for a 3D job position, like animation or something, like for game animation, something like that. And he claimed he had nothing else to do and he couldn't get a job anywhere else because 3D was all he could do. It's all he learned to do. All that knowledge for nothing, that kind of thing. He was having a pity party and a really bad attitude. Again, I can't blame him. But the others who could help were just not answering anymore. No one was talking. I was waiting and waiting. There was no results. No one talked. It was just completely dead. And I figured I was just getting ignored, and I couldn't fix it on my own, etc., etc. I don't know if the guy banned me or shut down the server, but it was gone. I assumed I got banned because I was getting frustrated. Afterwards, Discord was a loss for me. I had nowhere else to go. I tried another place I dreaded going, but I'm not going to talk about it. I'm skipping that part of the story and getting on to this part. About Reddit. As time went on, I recently went to Reddit, a website I never go to unless I absolutely had to. I never look for Reddit, but in times like this, I figured now's a good time to check out Reddit. It's my next best thing. It was my next best bet. I feel like this had to work because it's Reddit. Surely I would get something. And I found a Blender support Reddit and figured I would finally get help. At first, it started off with no responses. I would get a reply here and there. But the one I tried, I'm sure anyone who has used Reddit know this, but the freaking karma requirement to post anything, to this day I still think it's the dumbest thing possible for communities to have, kept on stopping me. The AI, like the AI moderator, would just delete it instantly. And I hate it when community servers have this requirement, because what's the point of being part of a server, like a community on Reddit, if you can't talk there? And it's like, how can I post and talk and get karma levels if I can't do anything? You know, it's just like, I hate it. Like, what if there was someone like me, who doesn't use Reddit often and needs help? How are we gonna get it if we need karma, which takes a long time just to get to the right level to be allowed to post a thread? Why have support communities if no one is allowed to post anything? It annoyed the hell out of me. I couldn't go anywhere. So I just left. Reddit was a lost cause from the start. Then I tried the Blender website. Didn't get a lot in terms of help. Responses took an eternity. I didn't have the patience to wait a month for a reply, so I didn't continue there. Then I realized I had no choice. I had to go to a site I dreaded returning to when I said I would never come back. BlenderArtists.com. I avoided this site due to how aggressive the people are on there. It was exactly like the last Discord server I was in. Hostility for not knowing anything or everything when you're clearly not as experienced as them. Accusations out the ass. Some of you already know I got locked out of my thread due to not thanking or hearting people's responses enough. So that sums this place up. But I figured I had no other options, so I returned. The responses were as expected. Skeptical, but they helped me. And as usual, when things don't work out, they quickly get annoyed. Again, to be expected from the site. I was using another account at this time due to not wanting to be associated with past posts. But you'll find out what these guys think of that later. So far, this new thread was fine. Got some very good help. I wouldn't have gotten as far as I had were not for them. They got me to where I am. This guy that I was talking to was actually really chill. He helped me out a huge ton, more than any other guys I was talking to, and they're gonna pop up later, but we're not at that part of the story yet. But as things were getting wrapped up, I was hyped. After 7 years, this model would finally be done. One last thing to wrap up, and it's off to the exporter. Gotta make the QC, get it to Source Filmmaker, and it's finally done. I'd be free. But then I got a response that would soon burn all that time and effort to ashes. Preserve volume was the model's downfall. It was pointed out to me that the model changes poses when it's turned off, and Source Filmmaker possibly didn't support it. I felt my heart sink. I was filled with fear. I was panicking. After everything I went through, it couldn't end like this. I made a desperate move to export it early just to test it. I didn't care about working textures, and I also learned that the model was too small. But I didn't care about that. I also learned that my worst fear was realized. It in fact did not support it. The model sleeve was no longer in the perfect pose and instead sunk into the arm. There was nothing I could do, nothing I tried would work. It became hopeless. I was in a bit of a shock, too. All that hard work was gone, and there was nothing I could do. All my plans was ruined. All that excitement just faded away. I was really down in the dumps. I ran out of energy and just didn't have the motivation to keep trying. What was the point? Nothing can fix it. After years of struggling, Blender won the war. So I made the mistake of announcing it on my thread. I thanked them and said that the model could not be fixed and nothing I tried worked. Just that the preserved volume just damaged it beyond repair. I can't repeat it without it. And I was forced to give up the project. It was hopeless. And I figured it would be said and done, but I forgot where I was and who I was talking to. One guy questioned me if I was someone else. I couldn't help but wonder why he even cares so much. Why does it even matter? I ignored it for a while, but due to my stubbornness, I went back and engaged, because a part of me didn't want to give up, and also I just wanted to question him, because for some reason I thought it was a good idea. Everything skyrocketed from there. Soon others joined in. I was immediately attacked. They swarmed me like piranhas. And these were the guys I engaged before. And I was lucky enough to not have them be part of this thread, because they would have done this from the very beginning. And I was lucky for the longest time to have that chill, cool guy be there instead. I was insulted, harassed, and was given a screenshot of being muted. As if I would care, but he has to show my profile of him muting me. On my profile. According to one of them, I only had this second account because I knew others, I knew no one would help me if they knew who I was, even though that wasn't my intentions. I figured there'd be less hostility, but that wasn't exactly why I did it. It wasn't my only reason. They targeted me more than the Discord server ever did. Sure, less insults, and people for the time. No insults and all, but they just attacked me again and again. They claimed I shared my blend file because I wanted people to do the work for me, and what should have been a few posts went to weeks and months. I apparently should be paying people for the time they put into helping me. And I stated that I only shared the blend files because they asked for it. Because they wanted a closer look at it, because it would be better than me explaining it. I didn't post it. If I wanted people to do it for me, I would have put it in the thread post. I would have said, can someone do it for me? I reminded them that before I said that, I wanted people to not do the work for me. I wanted to learn to do it myself. I mean, I don't learn anything if they do it for me, and I stated that several times before. So I don't know why they think I want people to do the work for me. I told them they asked for the file, and I didn't want anyone to just do it for me. I politely thanked them and said that the model was just done, and politely asked if they would leave me alone. But they wouldn't stop. Over and over, they kept going about me and just wouldn't leave me alone. I asked them twice for them to leave me alone. I asked twice. And I wasn't being rude. I was being patient. Because, hey, I'm the victim here. And plus, there's nothing really to defend. So I just said, the mall is done. I appreciate what everyone did. I wouldn't have gotten this far. And the model is done. It's done. But they wouldn't leave me alone. And then I just about had it. I told them I would just leave. If it makes them happy, I could just leave the site. It's fine, just bully me off. I just asked them if that's what they wanted, and I would just step away from the site if it would make them feel better. Because there was nothing keeping me here anyway, so I figured, fine, I'll leave. I'll go if it makes you happy. So let him win. Let him bully me off the site. Congratulations, they bullied me away. Cool. And Hamad had to step in just to get the harassment to stop. Honestly, at first, I thought he was on their side. Like, he was just done with me talking here. But it turns out he did it for my sake. For the first time in my life, Ahmad was actually on my side. There was no sarcasm or no double-sided thing. He was actually doing it for me. And this was the same guy who closed off my thread the first time because I didn't thank anybody. Might add. I didn't trust him fully, though. He was at a thread I made on support about wanting to delete my thread, but can't, and can't even delete my account because I just want to cover my tracks and just leave. I just didn't want anything to be found. I didn't want anything to trace back to me. So I just done. He was polite. He offered he would end on me and so on and do what they usually would do if someone like me is in that situation. And he said he hopes I won't leave the site. He would really like if I stayed. I knew he didn't care. I know he truly didn't care. I just feel like he didn't want me to leave because they don't want people leaving the site because of business things. The more users they got, the site doesn't shut down. I doubt he genuinely cared and wanted me to stay. I appreciated his kindness. It was refreshing, but I knew he only wanted me to stay for the site's sake, not mine. I, of course, didn't say that, but that's what I thought. Besides, when do mods ever truly care about someone in their community that doesn't benefit them in any way? I mean, when do mods ever do their job and actually do stuff for the individual and not themselves, you know? Like, I did this for the sake of that person, not because it's inconvenient for me and I'm annoyed or it benefits me in any way, you know? I doubt he cared, but it wasn't my concern. I didn't have the energy to care. I felt some shock from the attack and having to give up on a 7-year-long project. I was feeling too hurt to care. Oh, a bit misty-eyed, but that was fine. No, mouth's dry. During all this, when it was going on, when I first found out about Preserve Volume and was trying to figure out what's up with it, I asked PD Jack on Steam if S7 worked with Preserve Volumes. Of course, he took a while to say anything, so I figured it out on my own by the time he answered. That was what's going on the day prior. And the other night, I'm recording this, I was discussing it with him. He wanted to see the blend file. He was looking it over and sent me screenshots of things that were wrong. I was beginning to feel hopeful again. Would PD Jack swoop in to save the day yet again? I figured when I woke up the next day and asked him about it, maybe toy with him, say, like, has Jack met his match? And I bet he would already have something figured out. He would say, nope, I'm working on it and I'm getting things figured out and I'll have something for you in a bit. I will be back on track. And he... Oh. Well. I guess that's that. I found myself going back into the state I was in before. It was over for me. This model has no chance in hell. Everything I fantasized about making, what I do and could do, all gone. All those years of patience, stress, restless nights, and bullying, all for nothing. I was patient for 7 years. All for daily squat. Nothing. Was stopped at the finish line. I should be looking at the positives. I don't need to work on Blender anymore. I don't have to worry about this every day. But I just wish it was under better circumstances. I wanted this to end with a success. The model was done functional, not because I was forced to give up due to not having any options and it was impossible to fix. I didn't want to give up, but what more could I have done? What could I do to fix it? Nothing worked. it won't pose the way I want, and it's showing clear signs of being unable to function without preserved volumes. And all that suffering, and it just ends like this. I hate that it had to be this way, but it's unsolvable now. I don't want to spend another month on it. I know it won't get anywhere. I would be beating my head against it for no reason. Doing it over and over, expecting change. I figured I could make it in Blender instead, but one of the reasons I can't is because rendering takes too long. Imagine rendering for 5 hours for a single comic panel. And plus, I won't be able to have the capability to make some certain effects and all that. As far as I know, I don't know how to do particle systems and all that in Blender. I figured that'd be another difficult thing to learn. It would take me another year to understand. So here I am, disappointed. 7 years of work, all for nothing. All that time, effort, patience, practically hair falling out over it. Want to rip everything out of my own skull, sitting at a computer every day, wasting summers and time I'd be having fun shows, and it ended with nothing. But I can't be that disappointed. Technically, I got it finished. Sure, I had to fix something with the pants because it was literally ripping when you can move, it makes holes, and I was given a solution to that, simple fix, and everything else was working perfectly. So, I can't say it was a complete failure, it's just, I guess the best way to put it, held back. And, yeah. So, I had to get that off my chest. Video took a lot longer than I would have liked. I figured maybe 10 minutes at least. Ah, boy. Anyway, that's my tale of a road when it comes to Blender. What I've been dealing with for these past several years. But hey, at least soon I'll be back to making YouTube videos full time. But for now, I gotta finish the last of the TF2 clips to put in my TF2 channel. Then I'll officially come back here. Even though YouTube keeps screwing over the smaller channels. Like they completely screwed over shorts because people use AI too much. So because of things being repetition, certain videos would no longer be acknowledged by the algorithm, which means my Dragon Ball Legends content is completely dead in the water. But hey, the algorithm is our friend, right? Anyway, I'll see you guys very soon. Farewell, everybody.